If we're being real about it, that's the relationship then was just not very good. And so
I feel like we were always at odds. And not because I really wanted to be. It was just like, I don't think you liked me then.
No, it's not. Well, it's not that I didn't like you.
Okay.
I didn't like. I felt like you didn't handle things in a proper way, and I felt like you were 22 years old, and you thought you had this huge authority, and so
really, I don't feel like I was. I felt honestly so intimidated to step into that role of leadership because I was so young. So continue.
100%. I think you were put in a no-win situation, and I didn't think you handled it because you had no idea. You had no experience. You know what I mean?
My whole career has been the show. It was like internship
right. You were the phone screener, and then all of a sudden you're quote unquote the executive producer
of what? You haven't even said
The Big Show. I said that 3 times.
Bobby Bones Show.
No, The Big Show. And so there was instances that we had, and I was just like, that is not acceptable, how you would talk to me.
What? Are you serious?
This is awesome.
I don't remember this.
Okay, there was one time.
You have to bring up the ticket thing.
The ticket thing?
The ticket thing.
The Bluebird.
Oh.
The ticket thing. This actually made me cry.
Okay, I mean, the ticket thing.
Oh my gosh, we're getting into it.
The one thing was, yes, Garth Brooks was doing a private show at the Bluebird.
What year was this?
I have no idea.
We moved here in 2013. You were probably 2016, 2017. Baser cancer in 2018. I want to say 2017.
Yeah, that sounds right.
What year is this?
This is 2024. The pandemic was 2020.
No, because it would have to be. I would have had to been married, and I don't know what year I got married.
Well,
so it had
anyway, the timeline doesn't matter. Attention spans. Let's get to it.
So Garth Brooks is having a private show at the Bluebird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we were told no plus ones. I had just gotten married, so I was like, "Oh, I'll bring my wife," and you told me no plus ones, and I'm like, "Cool, no problem. I'll go solo." And I show up in line to get in at the Bluebird, and 3 people in front of me is Morgan and her boyfriend, who she has been dating for 2.5 weeks.
No, we had been together for a long time, but
I looked at you, and I mean, there was fire coming out of my eyes. There was steam coming out of my ears. And when we talked about it, when we discussed it.
Can I give my side?
Hold on, I will. But when we discussed it the next day, you were
attention spans.
You said, I think my service to the show deserves a +1. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was just like, excuse me, I've been with the show for 15 years. I think seniority, my wife, is more important than some boyfriend that is going to last for another 2 weeks.
Okay, so that is Lunchbox's version and your truth that you're living in. And my truth is that, gosh, this is so long ago, I'm trying to remember, but like a month before we even came to the show to see like who wanted tickets or whatever, me and Gator were back and forth because I'd asked him before I even knew if tickets would be available for the morning show if I could get 2. And he said yes. And Gator is the program director for the local station here. So I was on the list long before there were any discussions for any additional tickets. And was I working a system? Yeah, I was. And you can agree or disagree with me there. But my boyfriend at the time was a huge Garth fan, and I wanted to give him that moment. So that was locked in way before Gator came and said, hey, we have a few extras, but no +1s. And so at that point, I came to the show and said, hey, they're not going to be able to do +1s. But in my mind, I was already locked. I'm not like giving up my ticket at that point. So that was the breakdown. Then I remember on air, it was just painted. At that point, like I was not sleeping at night. I was working so long. I mean, the morning show is a grind. The way they all work is insane.
The dirty underbelly.
The dirty underbelly. So I just felt like when I got pulled into that bit about like, oh, she's like not as important as me. Like, I don't know if I was PMSing that day. I don't know what was going on in the internals, but that just struck a nerve. And I'm like, no, I'm as important as anyone else here. I've worked really hard to like get here. And anyway, I remember actually I'm not a crier, but I cried that day because I felt like you hated me. I felt like it just wasn't construed in the right manner. I feel like everyone attacked me on. That was the hardest thing of working on the show.
Dude.
No, here's the
deal.
It
was everybody. If you painted
truth.
something in a way online, like on air, like then everybody's coming for you online, and I was just like, damn, I don't like this at all. I think that was one of my last times talking on air because I just told Bobby after.
Great job, dude.
I was like, I don't like.
I'm proud that
stuff.
on March 27th, 2024, that's her truth and that's her story now. Because when it aired, it was, no, I thought I deserved a +1 because someone else on the show had canceled, and she was like, so I just took their ticket, blah, blah, blah. And now I had it locked in 2 months in advance.
No, go back and pull the segment.
No. Okay?
But anyway,
we will never pull audio.
Me and that guy didn't work out, and he's a great guy. I don't feel, whatever. But like,
great guy, you don't even know what happened to him. Where the heck is he?
I know where he's at. So I just
wow, you still follow him?
He changed gender.
That's creepy that you still follow him and you still keep tabs.
I don't follow him, but he lives here. So anyway,
he owns a cattle ranch.
I wish. I'm sorry that it worked out that way at the time.
But that was fine. And I was just like, wow, okay, steam out of my ears. Then there was another time that we were supposed to come up with games for when artists came in to do interviews and we had to submit a game idea. Right? And I said, okay, Bobby Feud. And that was the game suggestion for this one artist. And we get off the air and she pulls me aside and says, hey, you need to send real game ideas. And I'm like, well, that is a real game idea. We play that game all the time. And that was it. I was like, okay, that's the end of it. Cool. Then we go. It's the same day. I don't know if it was CMT, ACMs, CMA interviews down at the convention center. And we go down there and we're doing these interviews, and in front of everybody, she comes up to me and you say, what I was saying earlier is that is unacceptable and you need to put more work in. And I'm like, what are we doing? First of all, in front of all these people, not the place for it.
I did this.
You did this. 100% did it. Right there at the convention center down there.
In front of who?
Artists, record labels, I was getting food.
Not on his taco.
And I am like, what are we doing?
I don't recall this at all.
We had already had the conversation.
But she was fresh out of college, Coach. You were a veteran. She's learning. Now she's probably never done that again.
Right. Do you understand? That's why.
Have you ever interrupted somebody's lunch break since then?
No, it wasn't the lunch break part.
I know better.
It was the principal.
It wasn't even the principal. It was, A, this is not the time or place. B, who are you yelling at me in front of all these people?
I was yelling. I feel like.
I don't know if yelling, but reprimanding me in front of all these people when, A, you were 22 years old. I was like, this girl needs to calm down, needs to back it up a little bit. So, yes, though there's instances that I felt like you were you were way too young to be doing that job. I thought, oh my gosh, she thinks she has all this power and she's going to sit here and reprimand me when she has no idea what she's talking about. I was like, no thanks.
No idea.
No idea.
Sorry.
No, compared to what I knew and what my experience, like you were fresh out of college and you were trying to tell me how to behave. And it was like, just don't talk to me like that. You can talk to me as an equal, but you're not my boss. You're not talking down to me. And that's where, yes, our relationship frayed.
I do got to say, props to you for talking to him like that, because people to this day still don't talk to him like that.
But I don't recall. I'm not saying you're lying.
I surely didn't pull the camera from the Omni Hotel.
Hold on. No, it wasn't the Omni Hotel. It was the convention center.
I surely, I remember the ticket situation for sure. I don't recall this at all. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it's interesting, hearing your version of events, and I'm sure something along that line happened and I didn't handle it well. I was so young, and I don't ever think that I had the mentality that I was the head, be in charge, and it's my way or the highway. I think that we just butted heads because I felt probably like you didn't really care about what I was asking you to do, and so you were just when you said Bobby Feud, I don't recall this, but I feel like if I said, hey, let's come up with game ideas, it was probably come up with game ideas that's separate from what we've already launched and are doing, like new ideas. So it was probably something to do with that. But now I would never come to you in a public setting and air any grievance. I think even hearing y'all's feedback about that first batch of logos, I was like, dang, I wish they would have just like hit me up and we could have talked through it and just moved on to the next
But that's
thing.
the thing. That's our podcast.
So,
our podcast is like
it's complaining
and
venting.
It's talking about it. Like it's fun to share it with with the Sore Losers Nation because they want to see, like, if we just went and we never talked about how bad these logos were, they would have no idea. If we didn't post them. Like,
but I feel like
that's the whole point.
I feel like the way you portrayed that was like Morgan sent us these thinking, and I'm like, no, the feedback I gave was this ain't it, and we'll probably have to pay somebody if we want to get what y'all really want.
That's why I take your side.
Thank you, Ray. But
no, you folded like a lawn chair, man. Yeah, I mean, you folded like a freaking lawn chair.
You guys butt heads because she's a strong woman.
You folded like freaking Kentucky in March. That's what you did.
Strong woman.
The truth of the matter, just sitting here today as a 31-year-old who's like now a little bit more, am I perfect at my job? No. But am I a little bit more seasoned in working with people? Yes. I want us to be on good terms, and I want the best for y'all and y'all's show. I think, I look at your numbers. They're good
numbers.
All
right. They could be better, but I mean, the nation,
anybody's
they come
numbers
and go.
could be better. But I want what's best for y'all's show. I just don't want.
Ray, are you going to talk at all, Ray, or are you just going to hold the damn phone?
Bro, just like on The Big Show, you guys talk a mile a minute. There ain't no gaps. I will take my turn. I have nothing to say. You guys had a disagreement and just hashed it out. That was awesome.
Can we shake hands and start on fresh ground?
Well, yeah, I mean,
I would rather
like,
kiss.
I hate to tell you that we're fine, but yes. So that's when you say I don't like you, like that was. I am one that if you burn me, like I am very like chill. Like I think I am chill, and the disrespect is when I'm just like peace. Like ain't got time for it. Like I don't play that game.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorn or lunchbox.
Yeah, I have no recollection of that. I apologize for disrespecting you because I'm sure in a sense that I did, and that I know my heart, my intentions. Like that wasn't what it.
Like when you took your other job and you left, and I was like, man, that's too bad. Oh, I'm so depressed. You know what I mean? Like it was so. I was just like, thank God.
Oh, wow. Like, I worked here for a long time, so you felt that way the whole time?
No, like, when you were a phone screener, you were chill. You were cool. Like, you didn't try to, like, get your claws in. Like,
I wonder if that's everybody. Ray, did you feel that way? Like, or that's what I'm curious about. Did everyone hate, like, working around me at the morning show, and I'm just finding that out now?
No, we had a completely different working relationship. I mean, we were producers behind the scenes, way over our heads, way over our skis. He was a talent. It's just a completely different thing. He felt like some of the people here rubbed him wrong. They would talk to him about his talent fees he didn't like, which is just rude. You don't disrespect a guy that's been in the industry for 20 years and then tell him his talent fee's too high or something like that, which is something that when then you came in, you didn't know the specific things you're supposed to talk to a talent that's been in the industry. You just saw him as goofy Lunchbox, where he really is a talent. He's a legacy. The old people. Who are the old people? He's
Carrot Top.
What's LeBron?
Do you think that there was ever disrespect on your side though? Like I get you're saying that I was disrespectful, but do you think that maybe I was giving the energy I was getting? Like I'm just thinking I know myself, and it's not like me to just be rude at all. So
maybe, but I didn't see you as an authority figure because you were.
I didn't really see myself.
But that's what I'm saying, and that's the problem.
Sexist.
Because you would try to boss me around to tell me to do things, and I'm just like.
I think I did have to give directives. I mean, that was part of the job, but it
wasn't. She was put in a position above us.
That is what I am saying. She was put in a bad position, so that didn't help things. I thought that her being in that position was wrong in the first place. And so
I think I ended up doing a pretty good job, though. I do think it was a learning curve, and I had a lot to learn.
I mean, my wife, when I told her you were hired as president or whatever, I don't even know what your job is, but you're president. And she was like, maybe you should talk to Morgan. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I talked to her. And she's like, no, you guys should talk about what happened. And I'm like, I'm cool.
Well, I'm glad we're talking because I didn't even realize you held all this animosity.
No, it's not that I
bottled it. He just read the label. It was from 7 years ago.
We just popped the cap on the animosity.
No, and see what I'm saying? It's not that I held on to it. It was just like, hey, man, that's what happened. That's where our relationship is. Like we work together, cool. Like All right, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need to be your favorite person. You don't necessarily need to be mine, but
Because I'm not your favorite person.
You're not my least favorite, but I want us to have a healthy working relationship.
But you probably look at me as difficult to work with.
Well, I haven't worked with you much in such a long time. So hearing that segment, and I texted you guys after I heard the segment, I was like, dang, like, I feel like instead of painting me in a negative light, we could have just talked about this. And that's sort of how I feel just in general of, like, if there is something that you're feeling is lacking.
And her sister's husband almost killed me. I mean, there's that also.
I mean, kill is a strong word, but he did nearly fight you. And I was an intern at the time of that.
All because I hugged his girlfriend.
At a bar or something. And then interns couldn't hang out with the big show guys.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah. And we could call my wife and she'll tell you verbatim about the whole in public at the CMA in interviews or whatever.
That is so crazy that is such a pivotal memory for you, and I have no recollection of it.
I told my wife, I said, I have never had someone talk to me like that ever, especially in front of all those people. I'm like, who the?
Yeah,
you know what I was thinking, Ray? Who the fuck is this guy?
That's
who the
segment.
Fuck is this guy?
The new segment.
The new segment comes full circle. Who the fuck is this guy? Like 100%.
All right, we got to book in this.
Yeah, that's wrong. If I did that in front of people, absolutely not the way to handle it. Here's my public apology and personal apology. That's just not the way to handle things ever. So.
Also, you had to understand that I've been doing this when this all happened. I mean, however many years ago that was, 12, 13, 14. I'd been working for 14 years, and we'd never had a, quote, executive producer. Like, we'd never had any.
Elena was.
Once again, she was behind the scenes. She never told me, instructed me to do things. Like,
she didn't give the schedule and.
Well, maybe give the schedule, but she didn't come up and reprimand me or try to, yell at me. And that's what I'm saying. So it was like.
Not a yeller. I don't know.
And maybe it's not yelling, but frustration with me.
So this girl yelled at you.
Stop. Got it. Okay.
All right,
can we let bygones be bygones?
Yeah, we're going to bygones be bygones. We got to go bye-bye. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this.